Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to another week of AEW television on our AEW for the Sickos save on TW9. Blood and guts at the end of the week. I'm looking forward to it. As I say, we have a 5-on-5 in my head. The final members for both teams are going to be announced on the Dynamite, and we're also going to find out who Takeshita's opponent is going to be at the event. Because of those two segments, it's not actually a lot happening on Dynamite. It's basically 3 matches to cover who gets the advantage going into Blood and Guts, plus the 2 segments revealing the 5th man and the opponent take up a huge chunk of time. So sit back, relax and enjoy firstly Dynamite, and then of course Rampage, Collision and Shockwave. Let's do it. So it's another episode of Dynamite and we start with Jon Moxley and the Death Riders in the ring. Moxley cuts the promo. He's got Claudio, PAC and Youth in the background. They don't say anything. But he says we're going to cut straight to the chase because tonight we're going to have 3 matches to determine who's going to have the advantage going into Blood and Guts this Sunday. So allow us to introduce the 5th man. The music plays. It's the Hangman. The Hangman is the 5th man for the Death Riders. He says, I'm here for a fight, I'm here for a war, and that starts now. Bring it on, you sons of bitches. Gargano steps forward and we are going to have the first match of the 3 to determine who gets the advantage in Blood and Guts. There's a reason why it's the Hangman, and that'll become apparent as the show progresses. But we have a 57 for the Moxley promo, a 70 for the Hangman reveal, and a 69 for Gargano getting ready to come down to face Hangman in our opening contest. So overall a 65 for that segment. It was a wild brawl, and it had some great wrestling and good heat as Hangman defeats Johnny Gargano in 13:49 with a buckshot lariat, giving the advantage to the heels. 73 for the wrestling and a 79 segment. Hangman an 84 performance. Obviously this wouldn't suit Gargano as much, but Hangman is on a tear and that is the start of his tear. Next up, we had our storytelling match of the evening, and it was a decent matchup as saw Bandito defeat Killswitch in 7:54 by pinfall. This was to tell a story because it was the weakest match because of the Styles Clash. 57 overall, and that's with Bandito off his game. I have kept Christian at ringside for this one, but if we have Killswitch lose a couple, then that puts me in a position where he can be disappointed and then disown him. So that was a 57, obviously building Bandito up for Bandito versus Rush for the TNT Championship. We had a decent matchup that saw Dr. Britt Baker DMD defeat Thunder Rosa by submission in 9 minutes and 56. Pretty good stuff there. 55 segment overall, both in kind of leveling performances, and they actually had great chemistry together. Unfortunately, Britt is still being penalised for being in extremely poor form. She says, so just like Wardlow and Ricky Starks, I agree Chris Jericho wasn't quite the launching pad I needed to get back to the top. However, after my great run in the Super Shine Grand Prix, and with a great victory here over against an old rival in Thunder Rosa, I feel I'm in a good place. So speaking of old rivals, hell even old friends, this Sunday you don't have a match, so I'm demanding a match. AEW Women's World Title, Dr. Britt Baker DMD versus Jamie Hayter. The Pillar takes out the Killer. So a 64 for that one. Because Jamie just won the title, it gives us straight into a programme with Britt. And yeah, you can't really have your champion, your Women's World Champion, off the card, so I'd quite like that match to take place. Match 2 of the series was a technical masterclass that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Lee Moriarty defeated Wheeler Yuta in 13:40 by submission with a joint custody. A 70 for the wrestling, a 74 segment overall, some good stuff there. Both guys with great chemistry that boosted their performances, and I feel having them two in a technical masterclass is only really going to benefit them. So 1 win each, 1 for the heels, 1 for the babyface. It all comes down to that decisive match tonight. We then cut backstage with Darby Allin and the rest of Team AEW, and with the score 1-1 we're going into our main event, but we still don't know who will be the 5th man for Team AEW. Bursting into the AEW locker room is Will Ospreay. Listen bruv, I know we haven't really mingled much in AEW yet, but man, I love this place, and like many, I don't want the Death Riders taking over. However, that prick Hangman, I need to get my hands on him. Let me be the 5th man, let me partner with Sammi tonight to get the advantage, and then on Sunday, I'll handle the Hangman and get my revenge. Obviously, Hangman had previously beaten up Will Ospreay after their first encounter at Double or Nothing, Darby Allin says, I'm not one to sit out matches. I would have absolutely teamed with Sammi, but I should take a leaf out of Sting's book. He believed in me, so do you know what? I believe in Will Ospreay. You're in. So Darby will sit out, the two captains sit out, Moxley and Darby, and that'll give us a main event of Will Ospreay and Sami Zayn taking on Claudio Castagnoli and PAC, with the winners getting the advantage at Blood and Guts. So 75, Hangman storyline advances with Will Ospreay, and we proceed to the next matchup, which was decent. It was Undisputed Kingdom, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, who defeated the Acclaimed in 9:46 when Roderick Strong pinned Max Caster with a super double knee gutbuster. Made this steal the show, obviously suits Roddy and Kyle a lot better, as we're looking to build them up. But yeah, 60, I can deal with that one. Go a bit more from Roddy and Kyle as we head towards the pay-per-view. I think you know where we're going with their matchup, considering who they've been watching from a backstage monitor in a previous episode. So if you got that, well done. I think that feud would have had a bit more time yet, if we had a bit more time, which we don't because I've been focusing on those main segments. But yeah, reasonably happy with that. As I say, it helps Kyle and Roddy get over, so I'm all for it. And the main event is about the had great wrestling and good heat. Sami Zayn and Will Ospreay defeat the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli and PAC in 23:01 when Will Ospreay pinned PAC with a hidden blade. I had a feeling this was going to be really, really good, which is why I made it the main event. So we get the 81, which is ideal. It gives the babyfaces the upper hand. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Sami Zayn, Johnny Gargano, Lee Moriarty, Darby Allin and Will Ospreay versus Claudio Castagnoli, PAC, Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, Hangman Adam Page, and Blood and Guts. That could be incredible. But let's find out who Takeshita's opponent is, because it's a big one. The full show has been, and we're still waiting. Who the hell is Takeshita's opponent for this Sunday, says Don Callis. Let me guess, Damore, you couldn't sign him on anyone even close to Takeshita's level. It's fine, we'll just take the knife off. Damore lets this down again. Then we hear the ring general, Walter. Oh my god, up at the top of the ramp, AEW's newest signee, the big Austrian, a world champion around the globe, Walter. He strolls to the ring, very confident. So Don Callis, I hear you calling this man many great things, but have you considered who truly is the best in the squared circle? That mat is sacred, and I will always back myself to be the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots. I will go down as the greatest of all time, and this Sunday, Takeshita's International Championship is Phase 1. Walter then squares up to Takeshita, who decides to back off, but that is booked in. We have Walter, Kinosuke Takeshita, AEW International Championship, Blood and Guts. 77 for the segment, 74 for the first part, 77 for Walter's, and he debuts his ring general gimmick. It was great. So yeah, we are getting Walter as a babyface to face Kinosuke Takeshita. Show overall gets a 77, increases pop in 36 regions. I imagine that's around the world. But yeah, absolutely delighted with that one. A very short show because of the matches, mostly focusing on the main events, but it allows us to use Shockwave and utilise Collision to build up the rest of the card and get it all sorted for Sunday. Locker room incidents. Jimmy Jacobs and Hikaru Shida are hanging out, and that is it. I'll book Rampage, and then we'll have a wee run down of it. So we move straight in with a roundup of Rampage. We have a Jack Perry promo with his ongoing mini feud with Rocky Romero. That got a 56. We have our usual Ash by Elegance angle, which was a 34. And then Ash by Elegance took on Tony Storm, with Tony picking up the win in a 65 rated matchup. From the Monet Corporation, it was Camille and Sky Blue, and they defeated the team of Ryo Mizunami and Sari in a 60, before we heard from Mercedes just basically praising Camille and Sky Blue in a 70 rated promo. Commander defeated Dralistico in a 62, and our main event saw Sammy Guevara defeat Mike Bennett in a 64 before Sammy Guevara had some words for the likes of Ricky Starks and Wardlow, just to name a few, and maybe even MJF as well. So pretty decent with Rampage. We're starting to get, as I say, away for the matches and the tournaments, and we're starting to have these kind of shows to help develop talent. So that's Rampage. We've got a kind of pay-per-view to build up for tomorrow, so it's time now for Collision. So we're in the Liakuris Centre, I've probably butchered that one horribly, for our episode of Collision. and of course Shockwave later. And the AEW World Champion is in action first, and it is Orange Cassidy taking on Shane Taylor. A decent win though. Orange Cassidy defeats Shane Taylor in 10-16 with beach break. Overall, a 70 rated segment, an 83 in-ring performance for Mo C, and a 44 for Shane Taylor. That gives me optimism that Okada and Cassidy can put on an absolute clinic if they click in chemistry. So good stuff there for the champ, and our usual cheap kind of hype after the matchup. He's working the crowd, he's holding up his title belt. He will go head to head tomorrow night. Orange Cassidy, Kazuchika Okada, AEW World Championship. So maybe if the main event gains, a good rating, we gain pop here. Although it is Collisions, it's only in the UK. Yeah, sorry, in the US, I forgot about that. But yeah, I just not can rely on Orange Cassidy, so that's always a good thing. Next up, we had a good wrestling match and a decent reaction from the crowd as Bandido continues to gain momentum by defeating the Beast Mortos in 8-17 with the Revolution Fly. These two, a 77 and 63 performance respectively. We're starting to get Bandido up to speed a little bit. The wrestling was a 70, and I think because of the time limit, that's why the segment was also a 70 as well. Although, to be fair, it is pretty much banging the average with both performances. And then we just had Excalibur talking after the matchup, just confirming we will see the TNT Championship on the line, as it'll be Rush defending against Bandido at Blood and Guts 64. We then had a promo from Chris Jericho who says, so it seems to me that despite what he's saying, that MJF is the man who's been turning the heads of Wardlow, Ricky Starks, and to an extent Britt Baker. Listen, I'm the king of reinvention, and I truly thought I would benefit myself, Starks, Wardlow and Britt. Sadly it didn't happen, but I don't take this disrespect from them and MJF lightly. MJF goes to his usual, whoa, Chris! How many times do I need to tell you, buddy, I'm not the man giving them advice. Sure, I agree with them, you absolutely suck, and you're a failure, and you'd probably just retire, but still, it's not me. In fact, do you know what, buddy? I'm going to do you a solid, pal. Tomorrow night, Chris Jericho versus MJF, and I'll show you that old Yeller should be put at the back and shot out of its misery. So it was my way to quickly getting MJF Chris Jericho on this show tomorrow. I hope that was a very accurate MJF promo, because they kind of all go the same way. But a 71 rated segment, Jericho improvised well, and even though it's only one segment, he's now babyface. Because, undeniable, just didn't work for me at all. Okay, I didn't change a lot of things and it's hurt me here. Extremely short matchup, storytelling match of the evening. Bobby Lashley defeats Jeff Jarrett in 3 minutes 31 with the spear. Bobby Lashley with 62. We're trying to turn Karen to join Jeff. Jeff was off his game as well. Jeff's getting stale. Just if you forget that Jeff Jarrett was involved here, it probably was okay. But at 52, it was just an easy victory for Bobby Lashley. That was the point. With a little segment backstage where out of nowhere we see Jack Perry and he's taunting Rocky Romero when out of nowhere it's Rhino and he just gores Rocky Romero. So a 51 helps us move that storyline along. So that's taking place. It has allowed Bobby Lashley and MVP to get to the back alongside Powerhouse Hobbs and Shelton Benjamin. And he says it's mostly MVP doing the talking here with the referee being intimidating. Now, like you've just witnessed, we are the Hurt Syndicate and we hurt people. So Jeff Jarrett, he was made an example out of, like Nick Wayne was and how AJ Styles should have been. AJ, you got involved in our business, so you now have a problem, and that problem is us. So we're laying out a challenge. No, in fact, we're not laying out a challenge, but a demand. AJ Styles versus Bobby Lashley tomorrow night. We hope to see you there, because if not, someone's getting hurt regardless. So I'm trying to push along these matches at the last minute, just to make sure we have a full card. It was just that way with so many shows in a short space of time, purely so I get the big build to all in. But 58 there, storyline advances, Shelton performing poorly. It's not great for AJ and for Lashley, but I hope it helps like the Powerhouse Hobbs and Nick Wayne, so I have to look at it from that perspective. Next up, and about had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Undisputed Kingdom's Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong defeat the MXM Collection in 9:32 when Roddy submitted Mansoor with the Stronghold. Pretty solid stuff actually. Mansoor actually had a better performance than Kyle O'Reilly, but hopefully we can get Kyle up there. But a 71, and it sets us up nicely for Aussie Open versus Undisputed Kingdom tomorrow night. Got a little segment backstage, and it is James Drake and Zack Gibson, the grizzled young veterans, confronting Katsuyori Shibata, and it will mostly be Zack Gibson talking, so just imagine it in a Scouse accent. What the hell has happened to you, Shibata? You were a truly feared striker. The wrestler, for goodness sake. Look at you now. You're nothing but a loser. Shibata via phone translation. Oh, don't you worry about me, grizzled young veterans. You should worry about Shockwave. I have myself a partner for our match then. Watch out, and don't fall asleep now. To which the two Scousers just reply, lad. Don't really need to stop doing that. Anyway, 59 is hyping up a match for Shockwave. It's going to be Grizzled Young Veterans versus Shibata and a tag partner who was signed months ago. I just took my time to introduce them as a unit. This is good. Wild Brawl. They had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Chris Statlander defeats Mayo Yamashita in 11:03 by pinfall with Area 451. 75 for wrestling and a 79 for the segment, 49 for the crowd. It's building up Chris before this matchup with Becky, and I feel like Yamashita was perfect for an opponent. And they've both done well with the Wild Brawl. I'd maybe want Chris a wee bit higher in the 70s, but it means like Yamashita could probably just wrestle MD at this point, so that's good to know. We then have Becky up at the top of the ramp. Good win, Chris. Impressive against a very good opponent. Now, I know you've had many massive matchups here in AEW, but you better bring the best ever Chris Statlander. You say you're more than a woman. Well, I've been known to be the man, so let's see if you can rise to my level. If you want to be a future AEW World Champion, you'll have to get past me. So, Becky, Chris, looking forward to this one, and that's a 66 rated segment. Then had a good wrestling match with a decent reaction from the crowd as the Young Bucks defeated the team of Darius Martin and Action Andretti in 11:55 when Nicholas Jackson pinned Andretti with the Meltzer driver. I made it steal the show. I felt like it was a team that could complement the Bucks whilst not being top flight again, so we get Andretti in there and you can see the big difference in the performances. But 79, good stuff by the Bucks. Looking forward to them versus their mystery opponents at Blood and Guts. In a little short video package, it just confirmed the debut of Walter, and obviously confirming him versus Takeshita, so the video just covers that angle, although only it's a 53 with them being the three subjects of it, which is fair enough. I think that leads us to our main event. Oh wow. Oh wow, it did, and it delivered. So I thought we need to give PAC and Claudio some momentum going into this pay-per-view, so let's put them up against a really good tag team. I'm always going to rely on the Lucha Brothers for that. And then about they had superb wrestling and good heat. The Death Riders, PAC and Claudio Castagnoli defeat the Lucha Bros when PAC submitted Penta. We'll just say passed out in the Brutalizer. So 78 Penta, 91 for Phoenix, 83 for Claudio, 77 for PAC. I used a creative finish, which was a success because it was going to run out in the 15th and I wasn't sure if it would run out before the event, so I just used it today. And obviously you get the excellent chemistry for Phoenix and Penta. But overall, delighted with that one. That gives us an 84. That's got to give us the pop in the home market. And I'd like to think if we have a good Shockwave and a really good Blood and Guts. The only worry about Blood and Guts is the main event is of course got to be the Blood and Guts match. So hopefully it does deliver. But I can't grumble. You know, there's two light blue segments in there. Plenty of the high 70 stuff as well, some low 70 stuff, and a lot of stuff we're kind of working on our mid card. But compared to some shows, I'm very, very happy with that one. So we'll see where we go with Shockwave. I'll need to get someone to have a really good match and work the crowd to make sure we get there. Finish the show anyway. Any incidents before Shockwave? Oh, Jamie Hayter has been hanging around Azumi, and she's starting to have an influence. So there you go. Keep an eye on that one. And that is it. So, time for Shockwave. Now we have the quickest 90 minutes in wrestling with Shockwave. So let's blast through this one. We're just under 9,000 fans at the Lycurus Centre, so not too bad. So we continue the feud between AJ Styles, Nick Wayne and the Hurt Syndicate. We had a bout that had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Nick Wayne defeated Shelton Benjamin in 9:48 by pinfall. These two brought together a 69, which is quite good. Obviously, Nick Wayne is getting really good in-ring performances for it, so delighted with that. And Shelton a pretty good 60, so I think they meshed quite well. and it continues the storyline and gains it a little heat. In this, Shockwave's obviously good because I can cover the angles a bit quicker, but my plan here was basically Nick Wayne starts to get beaten down by Shelton, AJ tries to make the save, and then Powerhouse Hobbs, Bobby Lashley, MVP, 4v2 beatdown, boom, boom, boom. So just kind of gives that wee incentive that AJ Styles has to turn up and face Bobby Lashley tomorrow night. So storyline advances, lost a little bit of heat, but a 64 rated segment. Moving along, we had Commander defeating the Blade in 11:25 by pinfall. Made this one steal the show. Wasn't too sure what I'd get from the Blade. A 44 against Commander 71, but they brought me a 65 rating and some positive momentum for Commander. A little segment backstage. So my idea here was that Eddie Kingston isn't on the pay-per-view, but Scott D'Amore's kind of apologised and says, whilst he has given a match up against the House of Blacks, Kings of the Black Throne this evening, he's given my tag team partner that Eddie Kingston will really enjoy. So Eddie's like, okay, but do I trust you? I don't trust many people around here, but we'll see how that goes down. That was a 75 for the segment. But a decent matchup. Hikaru Shida defeats Harley Cameron in 7:26 with a Falcon Arrow. Harley's obviously got a long way to go in terms of her ring stuff, so I made it storytelling. But Shida brought a 71, and the segment itself was a 60. So not the worst in the world. But then Eddie Kingston worked the crowd. He had his mystery partner for this one-off occasion. I think I've got him for 2 appearances, so we may see him again. But it is Masato Tanaka. So he's debuted his danging gimmick, which is very good. Eddie comes across well, and I got a 54 rating. I can't remember if it was he was either his contract was expiring or he's retiring. I can't remember, but I thought, hey, can bring him in and have one of those wee kind of just feel good matches. And yeah, they brought it all right. A wild brawl that had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as the Kings of the Black Throne defeated Eddie and Masato Tanaka in 11:31 when Brody King pinned Tanaka with the Dante's Inferno. Tanaka was the weak link with a 53, some great performances with a 74 Eddie, 75 Malachi, 81 from Brody King, so this absolutely suited him to a T, and the full segment drew an 80 rated segment, so absolutely delighted with that one. That's a nice wee feel good moment, but at the same time, done well. And our main event, trying to make sure we keep getting pop, had great wrestling, good heat. Swerve Strickland picks up the win over Mark Briscoe in 2058. Every main event now is going to have over 20 minutes, regardless who's in it. So I'm hoping in this instance it maybe picks Mark Briscoe up. But overall, 75 wrestling, 58 for the crowd, 82 for the segment. Briscoe brought a 61. Swerve, because of the good chemistry between them, brought a 90, which is good to see. And there's going to be a lot of 20-minute matches plus at the pay-per-view. We finish the show. Swerve works the crowd, not quite to the level of Orange Cassidy, as it only brings to 72, but it was hyping up the fact tomorrow night, Swerve Strickland, Kenny Omega for the AEW Continental Championship. So overall, a 78 will increase our popularity in 36 regions, so that'll be everywhere bar the US. Hopefully we get the US pop from Collision. Briscoe and Tanaka were overused, that's fine. Financial report. Made 6 million because of broadcasting, that's fine, that's ideal. Oh, the Northwest, what have you done to us? We had everywhere we needed bar the Northwest, so we are one good show away tomorrow from being the next level company, which is good to see. So what we'll do is, while we head back to the main screen, we'll just go through that card for tomorrow night, and of course the next video. We have the International Championship on the line as Takeshita takes on the in-ring debut of Walter. AEW Women's World Championship on the line as Jamie Hayter defends against Dr. Britt Baker DMD. TNT Championship on the line as Rush defends against Bandito. Chris Jericho will take on MJF. AJ Styles will take on Bobby Lashley. The Young Bucks will take on a mystery tag team opponent not contracted to AEW yet. There's some good news, we'll cover that in a minute. Continental Championship, Kenny Omega defends against Swerve Strickland. The AEW World Tag Team titles is Aussie Open defend against Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. We've got Becky Quinn against Chris Statlander. With the AEW World Championship on the line as Orange Cassidy defends against Kazuchika Okada. And then Blood and Guts, it's going to be Team AEW's Johnny Gargano, Lee Moriarty, Sami Zayn, Darby Allin and Will Ospreay taking on the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, PAC, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta and their associate, Hangman Adam Page. the growth of AEW. So I think it's only 3 regions maybe I need rather than all of them, but we've managed to make it. So absolutely delighted with that one. There you go. 5 regions. I knew it was something. It's been that long. Plus that's fine. To achieve big size, which we have 71 through Canada and Mexico. Canada, we need to work on the Maritimes and Saskatchewan, so I think we'd probably need to run shows there a lot. Mexico, we ain't going to be huge for a while, but that's fine. I haven't ran those places apart from in-house shows, so that's cool. But yeah, delighted with that one. Anything else that directly affects us? Obviously the shows were really good. I was really aggressive and trying to get us to that next level. But I say it just gives us a better chance of getting workers more over, and then hopefully more closer to those 100 ratings. Seen guys in the RWC Discord doing it, and it's like, I know he's a year ahead of me, but I want to get there eventually. What else I think directly affects us though? Marigold have offered the contract to Natsume Shizuki. No, I need you a bit further forward at 36. I think that's really about it. The Bunny is going to be back. Just kind of be an enhancement talent, to be honest. That's no other reason for that. So, what do we have? We've entered the warming up phase. The company shows do not qualify for area battles. That's fine. We're still off getting WWE, so we'll not be facing them because they're Titanic. So obviously it's just confirming we're big as well. Jasper Khan has joined Noah. 1.2 million viewers for Collision, and Shockwave had 10 million viewers because of our network. Jimmy Jacobs says Mansoor is going to be a star and a one-night deal for Yota Tsuji to Ring of Honor. We will eventually move Collision to the network, but I don't want to just put everything on the network and then it just goes crazy money and crazy ratings. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. A wee thumbs up would be deeply appreciated. Remember, next episode is AEW Blood and Guts, so hopefully you'll join us for that one. But until then, check out the Fantasy Booker subreddit, Grey Dog Software forums, tewdb.com and bethebooker.net. And as always, I'll catch you for the next one. Bye bye.